Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, happy Tuesday.
Oh my gosh,
we're having computer issues, so you should see us. We have 3 monitors in front of us and only 2 are working, and we're on 2 separate computers. And it's Tuesday, and it's the last weekly webinar of FY19. Woohoo! Who's counting down the days? I wonder. I bet all teachers are. So we're going to get started with thank you for joining us. So I'm just joking. She's getting us there. While you are waiting, please go ahead and make sure that you are signed in for attendance. Remember, all homework for the entire school year is due May 25th. So, or not for this, from March to May, I should preface that, is due May 25th. So just so you know that, my name is Melissa Matthews, and I'm here with
Gail Siglakis. Morning.
And we just want to show you how to participate in the chat and how to see this properly. So we're going to escape out of this window. We're going to go to the weeklywebinars.palmbeachschools.org page. And so that's where you're seeing the view right now. So if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, if you click on that YouTube when you're in play mode and you click that, it will take you to the YouTube page where you will see on the right-hand side is the chat. Please make sure that at the top, instead of top chat, you're seeing live chat. That will make sure that you are seeing all messages and not the ones that they think are important. Not only that, yours is probably blurry. So if you wiggle your mouse in the bottom right corner, you're going to see a little gear. If you click that gear and make the quality 720, you will be able to see clearly instead of blurry. So hopefully that will help. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk today about creativity and critical thinking. So Gail's actually going to run this one, and I'm going to chime in every now and again. So
if you guys want to go ahead and also do a quick shout out in the chat and just let us know you're there with us. Introduce yourself.
It says there's 6 people,
yep.
So
someone's
one of them's
there.
Probably me. But go ahead, chat in your name, say what school you're at, and
so today we're going to talk about creativity and critical thinking, and we're going to go over some tools you can do to help you as a teacher create some activities, and then also some tools for kids to help with their creativity and displaying their knowledge.
So Jen and Anna are with us. So good morning, you two. Thank you. I'm sure there's more, but we'll figure it out as they type in. I know some of you also kind of have this on and watch while you're getting ready for your students to come in. So
yep.
No worries there. Good morning, Erica.
And then we'll talk about some critical thinking strategies, escape rooms using some Google tools. And then also, if you didn't attend the Tech Talk, I'll just share quickly what John Long and I presented on as far as critical thinking in the classroom. So I guess we can get started.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick thought, like what does creativity mean to you? If anybody wants to shout it out, what does it look like? What do kids do if they're being creative, or even critical thinking if you want to do that?
So there was a big debate up here that if we took a textbook or a worksheet and we digitized it, are we being creative? And we went back and forth and said, nope, we're just doing it on a computer.
Right. You're just typing it into a document form online.
Instead of using a pencil.
That's true. It's funny because when I moved from elementary school and went into middle school and started typing up documents online, I feel like I lost my creative side going to middle school. I was just quick to get things out. Mm-hmm. And so now I was talking to a friend, and she's going back after teaching 3 years saying, now I can go back and make it pretty, but it still isn't creativity, but still make it fun and like add some extra touches to it. But yes, just putting something online is not necessarily creativity.
No.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about Google Draw. It's how you can create some graphic organizers in there, and then also math manipulatives and some different tools that you can use in Google Draw. And we'll talk about some features that are in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, I'm using the slideshow to help me remember where to go, and then I'm going to jump live to go in there and play around with it. So if anybody has any other ideas too that they want to share out, then feel free to jump in and share that out.
This is a collaborative weekly webinar.
Sorry, right when the webinar started, everything, I clicked the X and everything disappeared. Everything closed out. So I'm just going
that
back
Shift tab,
in.
right? Or Control Shift tab, something Shift tab.
That would have worked.
Yeah, you can still do it now.
That's true. But I did send, Melissa's going to post the link to the folder this week. So there's just a bunch of resources and tools in here for you. So anything we look at today, you can go and make your own. Just make yourself a copy of it and change it as you see fit.
Okay, it's a long URL, so I'm pasting it in the chat window.
Yeah, so when you get into the folder, I posted 50 plus ways to use Google Drawings in your classroom. It has a lot of really great pre-made templates and tools for you to use. Otherwise, we'll just talk about some of those features. Just in case you didn't know, you have like this workspace, and feel free to jump in anytime you want.
I will.
Anyone else out there too. You have a workspace in Google Draw, right? So this is kind of your blank canvas. Kids can open up a Google Draw themselves, and then they can insert pictures. They can create posters. They can make charts and graphs using some of the shapes features and lines features in there. So this is kind of just an extra place for them. I've had kids, when I do literature circles, I always have like the artist position, and they have to represent something from the text in a visual way. And now kids are moving more towards, well, do I have to draw it, or can I use a tool online? Can I use a drawing tool or whatever that might be to represent it? So
it's almost kind of scary because a lot of people are terrified. Even people in our office are terrified of using pencil and paper because their handwriting is so bad, or their drawing is so bad.
Yeah.
And we've grown so reliant on the technology, and even on a smart board now, I don't know if you know, but there's a tool. I know.
Oh, you write it, you draw your handwriting, and then it magically transforms it.
Magically transforms it. But
typed.
not only that, they do shapes too.
This
so
is
if you
true.
draw like a kind of circle, it'll flip
true.
it into a circle or
That's
a
true.
triangle or whatever
Very
for
true,
you.
yeah. So you have a lot of the same features in Draw that you do with docs and forms. You can still add comments. You can still collaborate. So if groups want to create a poster on something they're doing in class, or like a chart or a diagram to represent what they've learned, then they can still use all the same tools, which is to collaborate by sharing it, leaving comments to each other on it. You can still insert all the same kind of pictures, features that you want to, that you would have in docs and slides. So what I just started creating, and I was going to finish it with you guys today, that way you can see how I use some of the tools, but basically creating a workspace for kids to play around with money. Right? And down here, basically, you're just copying and pasting and making a bunch of task cards. So you would go to each one and you would title it, like Crystal bought a bike for, I realized I only put dollar bills over here, so we probably can't buy a bike for $5.
Oh, sure we can. It's a toy bike. It's a little like rubber
toy
thing.
bike for, let's say,
203.
Yeah, okay. $2.03, right? So you can make these a bunch of task cards, and then as students finish the task cards, they just drag and drop them in the place they use cards here. And so they would use this to just play around with creating and making money, right? So if you wanted to do something like this, what I used was the insert the pictures, and I did the search the web. So I'm missing, I could find dimes, right? I have pennies, I have dollar bills on the right side. You can make whatever you want to.
Make it quarters.
Yeah, we'll say, I did the quarter transparent background.
Oh.
Because otherwise you're going to have like the square
Yeah.
quarter, which is fine. You could do that if you want to. But if you're one of those people and it bothers you to have I'm learning there's a lot of people out there like that.
There are.
So basically I just shrink it to the size I want it to be, and I bring it over here.
Make sure your quarter is bigger than your penny.
That's true. Is it bigger?
It's
Slightly
fine.
bigger. Okay. So then I'm going to just do our magic keys, Control C, and then I just continue to paste, and you get a whole bunch of quarters to play around with. So you just make your pennies, your dimes, your nickels, your quarters. On the left side here, your dollars over here. They're going to use the drag and drop feature to just work through the task cards that I created earlier.
And I love the way this gives them the ability to actually do these skills as well. So let's say that it was 205 instead of 203. They would have to go find those nickels and put them in there as well, or 5 pennies. And you could also even do like a conversion kind of idea too, where, okay, Crystal bought a bike for 203. Now show me that 203 in another way.
Yeah, multiple ways to show it. So yeah, you can use it for a lot of different things. But I just wanted to show you some of the features, how you can insert the pictures. Make sure you search for transparent backgrounds. That way you don't have the squares. And then I think just teaching kids how to use some of these tools then lets them use it for that creative piece or for the critical thinking where they have to create something on their own now. And then as far as sharing this out, you go through your Google Classroom, and it's just a drawing. So you send it out to your students through Google Classroom with that option of make a copy for each student.
That way everybody has their own, right. Nobody's fighting.
And then they're all working on those tasks at the same time at their own pace.
Free manipulatives, everybody.
Right. Yep.
You don't have to go and buy the paper and plastic pennies and coins and whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, if the kid, once the kids finish their own, all the task cards, then they could start creating their own task cards or using their own family members' names or things like that, or scenarios that things they want to buy instead of things we made for them.
Now here's a question. I'm getting technical and complicated.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What if I want to do this, but instead I want a background? So let's say, I want place value, like a place value card where they can move,
well, here's what I looked. Yeah, because I can't find we're going to look in a minute at slides and how you can put the background as an image. I couldn't figure that out yesterday. So if anyone wants to shout it out, that's fine. Oh. But otherwise, what you do for graphic organizers, there's some shared out there, is you would use your features here. So let's say you wanted to do.
I thought you just
Go ahead.
You
can insert the templates. Right. Insert image, and then we would search
place card holder or something.
Value,
yeah. Value card, maybe the first one. Oh,
yeah. I didn't like the options that were popping up earlier. That's why you asked the question. I didn't want to talk now.
Oh, sorry. She didn't fill me in before.
I know what you're talking about.
What about money place card or money value place card? Maybe, I don't know.
I saw this one. We want template.
Yes.
If you type in templates, you can find some different templates. I just didn't find any that I really liked. I know you can do.
You could always make it because really it's
that's my next
a white background with lines.
So basically you could use your lines feature or, if you made, let's say, a big rectangle, right? And then you added the lines in between it to represent the different money values, things like that.
Now make sure it's straight. I'm joking. She's actually checking it.
Yeah, so actually that does segue into the next, which is the graphic organizers.
Oh, see, so I set you up for that.
So here's a quick example of a graphic organizer you can do.
Oh, it's so cute.
Right. You could spend the time make it or find the template to insert, but otherwise these are just shapes, right? So if I went in here and put the butterfly shape, they used a wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make a shape out of that, and then you just insert your wings in there.
Yep.
And then when the kids go in, you make them their copy, right?
Mm-hmm.
They notice there's a little note here that they need to double click, and then they can type where, the story took place in the magical forest. That's what I feel like today. Yeah. So then they would fill in that graphic organizer and they turn it in just like they would any other assignments in Google Classroom. Nice. So yeah, you can make these. And then I always say my motto is once you make it, it's there. Yep. So sometimes things take time to make and then you have it to use moving forward.
Whenever a new textbook came out, I team taught with Sue Groth, who's now the principal at Frontier. And so whenever a new textbook came out, she and I would just divide and conquer. Yeah. And so she would take chapter 1, I would take chapter 2, and we would make all these cool new things that we would use in our classrooms. But we wouldn't have to do it solo.
Yeah.
It was awesome because especially with Google now, we can just share.
Yeah.
So with hers, that was years ago. We were pen and paper in it for most of it.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So like, once you make it, I mean, I know it just takes a few minutes to make in the drawings, but once it's there, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then you have other math manipulatives. So in the slide that I shared, the 50 plus ways to use Google Drawings, they have all these already pre-made for them. So you just have to click on it, make yourself a copy, and then it's yours.
Sit and make all this for us?
Well, I didn't sit and make this one.
Okay.
I'm not going to take credit for the math manipulative one here. I did make the money one, as you can see that I struggled through it. So yeah, and then the kids can show, different fractions and similarities, or you can add fractions and that kind of thing. So this is all in that 50 plus math manipulative or 50 plus Google Drawings forms for you guys. So you can go ahead and use that. All right.
Beautiful.
So let's move on to the next topic, which is, I don't know if I need to pull up this, but it's using Google Slides and talking about the backgrounds where you can lock in. So we'll go into that. This was actually one I did not share. So I'm going to pull up the one that I was making yesterday. Let's hope I can find it. Space. There we go.
Yay.
So, let's also loop in Google, Smart Notebook, because Melissa and I were talking yesterday and she's like, I thought you could lock it. The locking is in Notebook. If you're familiar with Smart Notebook, you can lock the backgrounds in.
So you basically right click the picture and there's a little lock.
A little drop down arrow.
Where this little blue box is in Smart
Notebook.
It's actually a drop down and you can click lock and it will lock that item so that item will not move.
Right. So for this one, if you wanted to, let's say, I'm just using a space example right now, have all your planets here and the kids have to order them, but they could have done that on a white background. But I was like, space is kind of cool, right? Let's put the space background in.
Do we use Pluto or no?
I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't get that far clearly. I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth mentioning that it existed.
I think so. It's still a planet.
Yeah.
So my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas.
Yeah.
If without Pluto, there's no pizza.
There you go. So what you do in Slides in order to do that is you can change your background. So if I go to change background, once I've picked an image, so I don't know if there's any images on this computer, but
just search.
Let's pick another space one just for fun. Right, so I could have picked a bunch of different kinds to choose from. So let's go with, this looks different. We'll have a satellite in the background or maybe a spaceship. I'm not sure what that looks like.
I don't know.
And so done. And now when you share this Google slide out to your kids, they can't move this, right? They're only going to be able to move the planets that you insert. So then we want to go in and we want to say insert an image.
Or even this one, because there's already planets, you could say insert text and they could have to name, the planets, assuming they could figure out which one is which. On this, you can't really tell.
You can see I'm picking the transparent background again, just because then they only have the planet, not the square that goes around it. So I put Pluto in there, by the way. That's Pluto right there.
Oh, good. Thank you.
And then so what you could do is you could have the planets there and the kids could have to label them. So they could add the words.
Love it.
For the planets in there. So just wanted to show you that quick feature of changing your background in Google Slides. So you don't only have to, because there's not always the best templates in Google Slides. So you don't always have to just use the templates that are there. You can use the backgrounds. And again, really good for kids to learn about using this tool for their own sharing information. Okay. We're going to move on. Unless anybody has any questions or any suggestions or things they want to share out. We're going to move on to digital escape rooms. So the breakout EDUs are great. I know John Shoemaker does those, right?
Did you know I'm a breakout EDU trainer?
Are you?
So jealous.
That's cool.
I filled out a form. No,
yeah. You filled out a form.
It's, breakout EDU is awesome. But it can cost money.
Yeah.
But the concept is
awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and the kids love it. And it really is critical thinking skills.
It is, for sure. Gail and I tried to do a math one day. It took us a couple hours, and I don't think we finished.
We didn't share this thing link because we're still learning it ourselves, but that was the place that we found the really cool one.
Yes.
But what I wanted to shout are 2 ways that you could make your own escape room or breakout escape rooms, whatever you want to call them, using Google tools. So it's free, right? So you do have to do a little back work on your end as far as creating the content. So I'm just going to share one that I made last year for my class. So you basically what I do, you can see I searched up my FSA escape room folder. So I make a folder where I store all the materials. That way it's organized and I can find it. But I did have to go through doing the work. So for example, like one station is comprehension. So they have a passage they have to answer, and then they have to get the questions. And then there's a code. So like they have to add question 1 and question 6 together to get one number. And they have to subtract and add to get a 3-digit combination.
Oh.
So you create the activities, right, on the stations around the room that are the actual stuff you would touch, the kids would touch and do and read. And then you just have to get creative with your combinations. And then they're going to go into, I'm giving you 2 options as far as where they can put codes today. So yeah, it takes a little bit of work to do this, but like I said, once it's there, it's there. So let's go back into this escape room. So option 1, right? So in this instance, all I'm going to share out with the kids, I'm going to create my stations around the room with the work, but all I'm going to share out with the kids is this one Google slide. And this is where they're going to go get their code, insert their code, and put their codes. So for each of the locks, I put a form where they have to go put the answers that they got.
Ooh.
And so it's either going to tell them.
It tells them if they're right or
so
wrong.
you have options. So that's what I want to show you guys how to do this if you wanted to try it this way. So I gave basically just, if you didn't see what I did, I put a picture of a lock, and then I put the word lock 1, and then I made a hyperlink to the form. So when they go into there, they're going to, okay, they just did station 1. The thing I like about this one is they don't have to go in any particular order.
Mm-hmm.
So they can go to each lock, whatever station is available, get the answer, and then check to see if they have the right lock. So in the lock form, I'm going to go back into my edit mode. Basically, I just put lock 1. I like to give them the clue, so give them something. They had to add, they got the answers on that comprehension sheet, and then they have to add, but then they have to follow the subtract and then add to get the actual 3-digit combination, right? So when you're doing locks in Google in Forms, you want to make sure you can make your lock a word, right? Maybe it's a sequence of letters.
Mm-hmm.
So you can decide what you want the answer to be. So if it's a number, text, right?
Mm-hmm.
A length. So we're either I normally go with a number or a text. So we're going with number. You want to make sure that you change it to equal to, because if you do greater than, you're going to too many numbers. If you do less than, less numbers. So you want to go equal to. Let's just say our answer was 459.
And so, wait a minute. Well, you didn't just make this a quiz?
No, because you don't want numbers attached. You don't want numbers attached to it.
Okay.
Then that just grades it for them.
That's true.
Yeah. So what this is going to do is then you go and you get specific with what you want your, it's called the response validation.
Oh.
So if I take response validation off,
it goes away.
Right. So you have to have the response validation in, and then you can get fun with this. So let's say my answer was, I can't remember what it was. I'm just making it up.
459, yeah.
And then you say, if they get that right, this is what's going to pop up, whatever you want it to pop up. So you can say, awesome.
You put like one lock down, however many to go or something.
Yeah, unlocked. One.
Ooh, we have 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
1, 4 more to go, whatever it is. And then you can get fun too. You can put, I use that emoji extension.
Yes, emoji 1.
So whatever. You can put emojis into your answers. That way it's fun for them. Right? I don't know, whatever you want to do.
That's perfect.
So just make sure you have this response validation. You can also do it if it's wrong. I think there's a way to set it so if it's wrong, it says not right? So
can you add another response validation or no? Nope. Because I was going to say anything else would be.
Right.
Okay.
So basically I just went through and created a bunch of different forms with different kinds of codes. So this one is just, they go to a listening station and they have to put each answer in to lock through it. So you can vary it, change it up, whatever it is.
Okay.
And then, wow, I overplanned today, which is good.
Which is great.
It's better to be overplanned than
under.
underplanned. And so what you guys have in the,
I also talked a lot with you.
That's good.
Which, yeah.
We need it. It's teamwork. What I put into the folder for you guys, just so you know what else you have in there, since we won't have time to get into everything. I put that here so you can make a copy, change it if you want to. I also put in, if you have all your locks, let's say you want to do your locks so that they have to go in sequential order and unlock one to get to the other. This is just a template you can go into and just make it your own. But basically you have station 1, 4-digit code, no spaces, and then they have to put that in. And then you can put images in. So like, oh, you unlocked it, and then here's the next one you have to put in. 5-letter word, all lower cases, no spaces. So you can go in and use those if you want to, or change them, or whatever that might be. And then just for your last 3 minutes, we're finishing up, since we didn't get a chance to talk about the critical thinking from the tech talk. I put our resources in here. So when we talk about critical thinking with kids, you want them to think about like what they're reading online, what they're looking at, what they're reading, what they're seeing, and be critical thinkers about that. So we put in some of our resources. These are QR code posters, and basically using print ads to be analytical and think more about what's there. And so if you really did the math here, so you can see the little, does this add up? No, it does not. It's not really a good deal. So we want to get kids to think about what they're looking at. We put in some older ads from the past, like where they were and where we are today. Like, do you want this in your food? Old asbestos cement.
Why not?
Yeah, you know. We put in like as far as
big meal.
What's the hidden messages we don't see, or we want kids to think about what are those hidden messages they don't explicitly state. So, are you full yet? And like, yeah, we're pretty full, and it's not necessarily the best meals to be eating. So you want to look at the text that's in it, and then think about what we know outside of just the ad. Yeah,
just like mom.
There's some controversial ones we put in here. So yeah, you could use this more for like middle school or high school, right? We used to promote feeding ourselves in our backyards with gardens, and now sometimes people have to fight to get a garden to grow in their yard if it's out front, especially that big story down in Miami with the people who took it to court. Okay, so yeah, and then we have some other QR codes linked to video ads. So if you want to use those, you're more than welcome to. Or if you have any questions about that, just reach out to me and I can share. We did a presentation with this also. I have that resource we can share. Okay, so that was critical thinking and creativity today.
Let's go
back to our webinar.
Homework real quick. So your homework is as normal. So, oh wait, are we allowed to share this folder with others?
Yes.
Yes, you may, Jen. No problem.
I feel like we always have to be willing to share, right? Like you make something, you put work into it. I know it takes time, but you got to share it out.
Yeah, why not?
What is it called? Push it, pass it forward.
Yeah.
I can't remember the word is for it.
Pay it forward.
Yeah. Always.
That was such a great movie.
And share. Yeah, you know.
So, homework. You have to be in attendance. Not necessarily live attendance anymore, but you have to at least watch the video in its entirety. Your implementation homework is taking a picture of something you learned during this webinar and you then used for your work environment. So you need to take a picture after the webinar, not during the webinar. And I cannot accept anything via email. It must be in ELM by May 25th. There is one survey for the semester as well. So again, it's March to May 25th. Any of the ones that we did in there, I can actually tell you it's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 classes total. And this is actually the last one for the year. So sad. But so it's a possibility of 12 points, which is pretty nice. So that's that. And that didn't work. And thank you so much for joining us. If you could please take that survey that we ask you to take every time. I'm copying and pasting it as we speak into the chat window.
If you need help with escape rooms or Google Draw stuff, that's what you would put yes for.
Just, let us know that you want some hand holding or some additional assistance from
creation time.
and we will come and assist you. Otherwise, that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you learned a lot and have a wonderful rest of the school year. And we'll see you next year.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.